Rewind 2018, Sadak, Baby Shark, Just Baby, and Friday. Just a few of the greatest failures in YouTube's history, and soon, we may not even be able to go and witness exactly why. As you probably know by now, YouTube announced recently they're planning to get rid of the ability to see dislike counters on public pages. This, unfortunately, among many other things, would mean you can't go back to these gems of failure and bear witness to their monumental lack of success. In response to creator feedback around well-being and targeted dislike campaigns, we're testing a few new designs that don't show the public dislike count. If you're part of this small experiment, you might spot one of these designs in the coming weeks. An example below. Now, this is interesting to me for multiple reasons, and to be perfectly honest with you, I don't care much about the dislike button itself, but a lot of the logic around this seems kind of weird to me. Now, before we really jump into this, I do think it's worth noting that most other social media platforms either never had or have removed the ability to dislike content. Facebook kind of has an ability to dislike content, but only because they have the ability to hold the like button and it turns into 5 emojis or whatever, and one of them is an angry face, so you can kind of dislike stuff over there, but it's not really a dislike button. Meanwhile, Reddit has its own up and down vote system where the total is used to rate the post. The up votes and down votes are added together to get a total number, similar to how YouTube's will look, but it'll work differently since YouTube's like count won't change based on the dislikes. Instagram and Twitter, among others, don't have any dislike function of any kind, but they do have reply. And that's a big flaw in this move if you ask me. Now, YouTube's plan, as far as I understand it, unless I'm missing something, is to just remove the counter from the public page. So you just won't be able to actually look at how many dislikes a video has on the actual publicly viewable page. As some people have pointed out, this is very much like how the comment system works on YouTube now, where you can actually see the likes on a comment, but you can't see the dislikes. But supposedly the creator who uploads the video will still be able to actually see how many dislikes a video has in their dashboard. And some people have pointed out that every creator that uploads a video has access to turn on and off likes and dislikes as well as comments on that video. So why do we need this forced on everyone? Well, the fact of the matter is that if someone turns off the like system or they turn off comments, people tend to jump on that as a sign that they want to ignore people's thoughts or concerns, meaning it can actually make the situation worse. For whatever reason, some people just don't want to see this part of the system, so people make a big deal out of it as if they're hiding something. Now, personally, I think in most cases, it just makes you look a little bit weak if you're not willing to accept that some people didn't like a project that you worked on. If you made sandwiches or you made some other kind of product, you really think people are going to accept that you just turned off the rating system when you're selling it on Etsy? When was the last time you bought from an eBay buyer that had a 0 rating? Now, on the other hand, again, personally, if sponsors actually take into account how many dislikes you get on your videos, then yes, I understand why in the middle of a controversy, maybe a sponsored creator might want to hide those numbers, hide those statistics, because that doesn't look good for them or the brand maybe. But I also think, once again, that's probably not the majority case. I mean, I've never heard anyone say that sponsors take into account like the dislike ratios, but if they do, I could understand why they would do it at that point. Especially if you're, let's say, like a movie reviewer, right? And you didn't have the popular opinion about some popular movie. So now you get flooded with comments and dislikes saying that your opinion's trash because it wasn't the popular one. Wouldn't it really suck to lose sponsors because you didn't have the popular opinion? But those random coincidental dislike flash mobs aren't the ones they're talking about here. It's a lot more specific. YouTube's post says this is based on targeted dislike campaigns and creators' requests based on their mental health, which seems a little bit weird to me given I can't remember any significant claims of a dislike campaign recently. And besides, if someone thinks their video getting more dislikes is the end of the world, they probably need to go touch some grass anyway.
No! There's so many dislikes!
It makes everything better. Now, personally, I think it should go without saying that creators involved in controversy are just going to get more dislikes. That's going to happen no matter what. You're not going to avoid it. But often enough, these creators didn't just fall into a fire. Usually, they originally were holding the matches to begin with. In some cases, they poured gas all over their feet before it. Despite these not being frequent issues, however, the post implies these situations are a significant issue. So it has to be based on something, otherwise why would they put the effort into it? It just seems kind of silly. Now, while there's a lot of possibilities as to why they're actually making this change that we don't really know, but most people I know seem to be on the same page with me that it's most likely a single creator under significant scrutiny or a bunch of creators that are under next to no scrutiny, but they're just not happy with the number of dislikes they're getting. Their fifis are a little hurt. I guess it doesn't really matter either way, but it just seems a little ridiculous. Like, with all the other problems YouTube has, this is the thing you're focusing on? Now let's take a look at the logic of the tweet itself. YouTube is saying that they're trying to get rid of targeted dislike campaigns to help creators' mental health by taking away the public view of the dislike counter. Now, the very first issue I have with this is that YouTube is removing the public dislike counter, not the private one. You can still see it from the creator studio where everyone has to go to change any information about a video or even upload a video. So if the goal is to protect creators' mental health, they're going to have to hide it from them in the studio, not publicly, because no one goes to their videos page to actually see the information. For example, if I'm going to go back and look at my Def Noodles video, I'm not going to go back and look at this page to look at the stats. I'm going to go to this page. They specifically noted that you still will see dislikes in your creator studio, but you won't see them on the public pages. So unless they're going to hide that stat somewhere deeper within the analytics or give the ability to turn that feature off, it's not going to help the creator because they're going to see it just as easily as before. And if the logic is that it's going to stop targeted dislike campaigns, can you explain how, please? Because as far as I can tell, if a creator or whoever wants to gather a bunch of people to go dislike a video, them not seeing the actual ratio isn't going to stop them. They're going to still go do it because they were coordinated to do it and they know the creator still sees it. If the whole purpose of a dislike campaign is to hurt the creator, well then aren't they still going to see that damage in their own studio? Then why would it matter? If you take it away, why would they stop? Now I myself still want to see the dislikes. I still want to have access to that information. So I would prefer they don't take it out. And I think the algorithm would prefer that too, because the algorithm actually, as far as I know, last I heard, it actually counts dislikes, likes, and comments all as interactions and doesn't actually factor a like or dislike positively or negatively in terms of how they promote the video. Because if liking or disliking something is entirely based on your perspective and your prerogative, it's going to be a subjective thing per person, and they really probably aren't going to want to, for the most part, label a video positive or negatively based on armchair reviewers. I'm moving my hands a lot and I don't really know why. But yeah, a lot of people still want to have this feature, as well as the system itself may be actually relying on it to an extent, so getting rid of it's probably not going to happen, or at least not happen easy. Based on the problem they say they're having and the reasons they're making this change doesn't seem like it needs to be done. What you need to do is turn on the ability for people to turn off dislikes in their studio where they actually see the likes and dislikes. If it's entirely about making people feel better about the content they make, then turn it off where they can see it. Why do you need to turn it off publicly and that's it? I mean, obviously, if you're going to give people the ability to turn off the dislikes themselves so that they don't see it in their dashboard, though, you might as well just go ahead and remove it anyway still, so that other people can't see it, because then they'll just get spammed with information about what they're not seeing in their studio by their fans and stuff. But the problem is, it's got to be not available in both for it to actually benefit anybody, because they're going to see it one way or another. But even with all that said, the whole purpose of this is to stop harassment campaigns via the dislike button, right? Now, what is the purpose of sending a dislike campaign after somebody? It's to hurt the person's feelings, right? To ratio the video. Well, they still see that ratio in the studio. So if the whole purpose is to protect their mental health and make it so that people stop disliking people's videos, well, if the person sends them to the video knowing they're going to still dislike the video, and that the whole point of disliking the video is to hurt the creator's feelings, then why would they not still do it? They're still going to get the end goal that they wanted to get. YouTube, do you really think that just because they can't actively watch the dislike counter go up and down, they're going to stop doing it? No. But I absolutely guarantee that there's going to be an increase of people posting threads of screenshots and videos of them disliking people's videos. But even with all that said, let's think about this critically for a minute, okay? YouTube's going to get rid of the dislike button because they're, benefit of the doubt, a bunch of these dislike campaigns that are being used to target and harass people, okay? They get rid of the button. All these people that were directed to dislike the button to hurt someone's feelings, what do now? They leave a comment. You think those are going to be nice, heartwarming comments if they're sent there to harass them? No. What's probably more likely to happen is an increase in burner accounts being made, and then vitriolic comments being left on videos. So what happens next when your video gets flooded with hateful comments of people disliking your content? Well, now you have to actively ban and report these accounts, but if they're not doing anything wrong, if they're just saying they dislike your video, maybe they're a little mean about it, there's not much you can do besides block the account, and then they make another burner account and leave another comment on another video or on that same video because you block. Like, the problem is here, all of these would be much more vitriolic and aggressive than the dislike button. Even saying, I really didn't like this video, or I don't like you as a creator, is way more serious than disliking the video. It's just one little button. It's one little button that just says, dislike. That's it. So if anything, to me, the vitriol and aggression that this is supposed to stop, this is supposed to mitigate some of these issues, it's probably gonna make them worse, especially if it's really some kind of harassment campaign. And while you can block people from the comments of your videos and you can actually report their comments for being hateful or vitriolic or whatever, the problem is if they don't do anything wrong, if they don't actually violate any rules or whatever, you're going to have to block them, or they could leave another comment, even if it's just mild, like I didn't like this video. So let's say they push this site wide, right? Then immediately after, somebody starts a harassment campaign telling their audience to go dislike somebody's video. Well, that's not going to work now. So what do? Leave a thumbs down emoji in the comments. Everybody, just leave a thumbs down emoji in the comments. That's gonna get right by all the filters. Oh, well, now they blocked the thumbs down emoji? Okay, well, everybody type thumbs down in the comments. This plan doesn't seem flawed whatsoever, does it? Like, do you think this will be actually less impactful to people's mental health than just having a dislike button number go up? Like, does anybody actually believe that somehow this is gonna result in a positive mental health shift? Does anybody actually believe that the comment section isn't gonna suddenly get an influx of use? They've already tried to make it harder to find the comment section, but people that are sent there specifically for the purposes of leaving a negative comment or disliking a video, they're going to be more incentivized to leave a comment if they don't want to use the dislike button. How can that possibly be a more positive move for mental health? Now, another angle that you see some people take with this is that they use the like to dislike ratio to gauge whether a video is worth watching or not, whether it's worth their time, which in many cases is like judging a movie by the review a YouTuber did, or judging a book by its cover. Blind allegiances and loyal fandoms will like or dislike things all the time just because it kind of coincides with what they already believe or what they already think about a person or a thing or whatever. How dare you speak negatively of my glorious leader? Thumbs down! Now, to be fair, there are times that it's a little bit more valid to use the like to dislike ratio to judge a video before you actually watch it. Things like product reviews or things like tutorial videos, there's a little bit more merit there. But at the same time, you are still going to have those people that love Apple, and this video is of a person hating on Apple, so I have to dislike it because Apple are my gods. And then they slam the dislike button with a warhammer.
You're going to arrange to pay us more than Queen Sir.
So the TLDR here, I guess, is that basically the way I see it, at best, this is going to be a lateral move where the comments are now going to get inflated with a bunch of negative comments in the cases that there was actually a dislike campaign. And then there's what I see as the worst case scenario, which is that they just incentivize people to be more vitriolic in the comment section in those situations. And for those people that are really sensitive to anyone that disagrees with their content, where they would have just left a dislike before, actually leaves a comment with a disagreeing comment about what's said in the video or what's done in the video, if they start blocking all those comments, now they're just creating an echo chamber. Now, to be clear here, we're talking about the extremes, because YouTube is talking about like worst case scenario here, where people are sending dislike harassment campaigns. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the worst case scenario here. Like, if that's the bar we're at, this is where I think we might get to by this action. And YouTube's response, the way I see it, seems to be, let's bubble wrap the internet, but leave the nerve endings exposed. But with all of that said, the real irony here is that YouTube is going to hide the dislike button. And all we want is for Twitter to add a dislike button so that we can dislike the post. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you in a few weeks. As always, a massive shout out and a thank you to the patron saints: Alex, Cody, Bowblacks, John Swan, Lady Zubat, This Is Ewan, Master Roshi, Paul Wentworth, Creepshow Art, and Pantsless Gamers. Thank you all so much for the extra support. It really does mean a lot, and I'll see you in the next one.